What is going on, guys? We're ready to start on this Honda Rancher 350 project. It is a 2001 model that I saw driving past it every day to work in a automotive repair shop. It was in a gate with all the other cars and it was just sitting there. What I want to base this series on is kind of like a how-to buy, what to look for, you know, when you're purchasing a used quad. And this will pertain to every brand, everything. The Hondas are definitely a whole lot simpler because they are just simply more reliable. They will start if basically, even if the slightest little bit of problem is not going to really affect it. The thing will start and still run. There's not really many electronics on them. You know, of course, that doesn't pertain to all the newer ones now with like relays for everything. But I'm going to kind of go through what I looked for, what I do look for, because when I saw this, I pretty well knew how it was going to run. I didn't really care on the issues because the price was just right. And that's another major issue, is the pricing. Don't let people think because they got a Honda, it's worth gold. They're not. There's so many of them, and they're just out there. And people who think they have them nowadays due to Facebook. And remember, Honda 300s were going out for $1,000 for a nice one, $1,500 for like a mint one, and now that it's bumped up to $1,000 more, $2,500. You know, and it's they throw tires on there and think it's worth $3,000. They're not. You guys, don't go crazy just because of the name. There's plenty of them out there. So I saw this one, like I said, in an automotive repair shop. It was sitting in a gate from the road, which was, you know, a quarter mile back or so. I could just look at this thing. Obviously, look at it. It looks good. All the plastics are intact. Everything is there. The mud guards on these is a big thing. The mud guards were there. The headlights were in good shape. Everything is there. So then I went in there, took a look at it, and here's some of the things that I am going to look for whenever I walk up to it before I even start it. For me, the seat is the number one eye catcher. Obviously, if you got a torn seat, that means that it doesn't mean that the owner doesn't care about it. It's a big eyesore. Like, actually, just take this Badger back here. Take a look at that. Everything on this Badger is rebuilt. The frame is reconditioned. Everything other than the tires and the seat. And the seat looks like crap. You wouldn't pay hardly anything for this thing, but it's worth quite a bit for what's done to it. But the seat makes it look like crap. This seat was reconditioned. The owner right there tells me that seat, he cared enough about the seat to make it look good. So then therefore it's telling me that he's caring about everything else on the Wheeler. Seats, number one. Seats can easily be replaced and recovered. It's not a big deal if it is done, if everything else matches. With this one, the seat was a good indication, so therefore the motor. Take a look at that motor. It's not mud stained anywhere. Yes, for a 2001, that means the thing is old. It's going to be driven. There's going to be crap on there. Unless you're paying top dollar for a mint four-wheeler. Okay? Don't get a clean motor mixed up with a acid washed motor. This one here, I do not believe was acid washed. You can still see a little bit of grime on there. No different from it just being washed after ridden, okay? Take a look at the header pipe. There's nothing built up on there. Of course, yes, that is dirty. 2001, once again, it's gonna get dirty. But it's not caked on, so it hasn't been mud rode. The pull start. This pull start is bad. After that long, once again, it's gonna be dirty. That is that's gonna get crap in there, it's gonna get bad. Pull starters I do not rely on. They work great if they're great. Perfect, use them. But don't rely on that. I'm gonna take that thing off and seal it up anyways because there's a seal behind that pull start that will let mud and water into it. Okay? That's done. Take a look at the wheels. They're not super mud stained. There's a little bit chipping off here. Perfect. Great. But there's nothing behind that. Mud and water would get behind that and sorry guys. Sorry. All this, no big deal. The tires, medium-sized tires, nothing big. It doesn't look, and you'll see a bunch of times where guys will sell a four-wheeler that says not mud road, and it'll be a set of crappy tires on here. That means that they rode it in the mud, they took it off, they kept the good tires to sell for more to try to make up for the money that they're asking, and they're gonna put crappy tires on here. This one's actually been rode, and I don't believe that it's ever been anything else other than these. It's pretty apparent. With the Honda Ranchers, the things smoke and they are hard to stop smoking. I don't know what it is about the motor, but it's just hard to quit smoking. This one here's got a little bit of soot around the tailpipe, but it's not dripping down. And obviously it hasn't been cleaned too much because the heat shield matches the tailpipe. Yes, of course you're gonna have exhaust fumes and everything come out, so it's gonna be black, no big deal. Always look at the tailpipe. You see stuff dripping down here? That's bad. Because you don't want cover up. People throw in cover up all the time for motors and stop seals and whatever. Take a look at the rear end. A quick power wash on this thing will take everything off of this. This is what I look for in the Rancher. A used Rancher, a used Honda is going to be used. Look for just used signs. This right here, awesome. That means you're just pulling something around here and there. Gun racks. Gun racks are another wonderful thing. I saw these, I said, wonderful, this guy probably just used it for hunting. That's exactly what they're used for, hunting. Use the gun racks, wonderful. All the plastics were in perfect shape. All the mud flaps, look for mud flaps and tacks. You know, it's not, like I said, I think this one's been tipped over once just because its back rack is a little bit angled down. No big deal. Nothing else seems out of alignment. Nothing else seems broke. It's not broke. So another sign. You can even tell technically these are probably the factory Honda grips. A little bit there, a little bit there, not bad. They're not completely worn down. So I can't tell how many miles are on it, but once again, a Honda doesn't really matter. So, okay, so we kind of hit the basics there. Everything looks good. Everything checks out fine. So what we're gonna check next, I don't care about wheel bearings. Wheel bearings are a wear and tear item. They're gonna go out. Don't worry about the wheel bearings. You can change those easily. Next, go up here to the air filter. Take the air box off. Dust this right here, perfect. If you're buying a used quad that you're gonna fix up, you're gonna use, perfect. Take it. That right there. Most ranchers and most people don't maintain their stuff if they're using it daily. It's just they don't sell it. I prefer everything like this. If he's selling it like this, wonderful. I can check to see the maintenance just by the previous, you know, uses of it. It hasn't been used for mud. Take a look at the fuse panel. These are pretty sealed up from factory, so this isn't like a telltale sign, but you can see it. Look at that. Brand new. No mud. Wonderful. Obviously, if it's been snorkeled or if that thing's missing, it means it's been snorkeled. You could even take a look in here. Clean as can be. Yes, used. And next we're going to get into the oils and everything. Pulled the dipstick out. This one, the float was sticking on the carburetor. Gas was leaking out. The gas tank was bone dry. It means it's leaking out, so check the oil. My oil is draining right now because the gas was leaking out and I figured some gas got into the oil, and it did. Drain the gas as soon as you get home, and I got a new oil filter. I'm going to change that with some new oil. Okay, so engine oils are a big thing to look for, like I said, but due to everything else that we've checked out on this thing, I'm not too concerned about the differential fluids, just because there's no reason as to why those should be bad. So I did crack this. Yeah, I did crack it, but I did not open it yet because we're going to look at it together. My guess is that the oil in this is not bad. So first time pulling it, take a look at the dipstick, or well, it's not even dipstick, it's oil cap. Not bad. We're going to dip our finger in there, our pinky in there, move it around. Already, there's nothing on my finger. I'm not worried about it. We will drain that and take a look at it, but that right there kind of goes along with everything else. Like I said, if you look at 2 or 3 things, you can kind of eliminate the rest. So, carburetor, another thing to hit on. Carburetors are super cheap now. That one was leaking, so I'm not too worried about it. I went with a whole new carburetor right there. So the carburetors now are almost just as cheap as a rebuild kit. So even if anything, I might just use all the parts out of this one to rebuild the factory one, just because it's set up. Also, take a look to make sure when you're buying one, see if you can make sure to get this piece right here. Not even sure what this piece does, but then again, it just adds to the authenticity of it, and it's going to help fit better. Everything is there. You even got a new heater. From what I've experienced, a lot of like the eBay, Amazon ones, obviously, guys, we buy it from Amazon and eBay. No one goes with factory parts. This thing's a $250 part from factory. No one's going to do that. So get this. But when you do get it with the heater, make sure that your wires are correct. There was another video I did with the Rancher, and the wires were backwards, and it kept blowing the fuses on that. So check that. The little tune-up kit, a new OEM air filter. You can definitely run a Uni if you want to. They had a good little bundle kit with the NGK and the oil filter and a Honda air filter. So that's just what I decided to run on this one. I usually would go with the Uni. Not that it's going to be adding any more or any less, but it's there. So did that. Once again, I said the grips weren't bad, but just your overall feel of a four-wheeler is going to be determined by your grips too. You have a crappy set of grips, it's going to make everything else feel like crap because that's what you're grabbing. So I got another set of grips. I always run these. I love these. I believe that these are the same ones that Highlifter even used to use, because I think they had that same image right there on their website. These grips are just gel grips. Super good, super comfy. They fit well. I got all this right here is a factory part and a little cover for the broken section right here. So all this is going to be new. And I got to explain a little bit of difference what's going on with that with the other one. Okay, so one more thing before I finish up. Take a look at these headlights, okay? The headlights are good. Usually on a bunch of other headlights, down in this bottom part around the lips where you can't touch, right? You can't really clean it. It's going to be muddy. Take a look kind of back in there. They're still not muddy. You can clean the front of them very easy, but you can't get your fingers or cloths or anything down in there. And I'm not talking about the inside, I'm talking about the outside, just around the lips. It's looking good. Wonderful. So guys, this right here, I would buy this thing all day long. All day long. It's a good setup. A power wash is going to make this thing look brand new. And that might be where I pick it up. I'm going to go ahead and change out some fluids and kind of get this thing running again here in a minute. So let's get to it. The second part of the series is going to be cleaning it, servicing it, making it run. To add to that real quick, brakes are not going to work on your Honda. Brakes will not work. Do not rebuild the drums. They're not going to last. Pretty much do away with the rear brake delete. Yeah, you can say, oh, well, if you rebuild them, yeah, they're going to work. Yeah. They're only going to work for a little bit. They're not going to work. Even no matter how much you want to get it back from factory. You know, I used to work at a dealership. We would put them on there, all factory OEM spec and everything, and they just don't hold up. Switch to the disc brakes if you can. It's a lot being said. I promise my other videos will not be all talk like this one, but these are things that we look for, things you need to look for, and obviously go from there.